all well. Today I am here with another tutorial for you. This is on a spring look. It's the look I had on in my March favorites videos, and I guess it could be a prom look as well, but I really wanted to do it because I was playing around with color and it's something totally different to anything I have on my channel because, you know, we got some purples going on, some pinks. This look just screamed spring for me, and with the sunnier weather and the nicer weather, I have just been wanting to play around and do some really feminine, girly kind of soft looks. I do actually have another tutorial coming up, which is a deep dark blue teal smoky eye, but I wanted to get this one up first just because I know it's some people's prom is coming up really soon, and I think this is more spring appropriate, but I will have that one up right after for those of you who requested that. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this look. Make sure you give this a thumbs up and subscribe, and leave me a comment because I love talking to you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.
So the first thing I'm going to do is take Fresco from the Laura Mercier Artist Palette. This palette just came back in stock at Sephora and it has some of my favorite shades in, so I will link it below, but this is just the perfect pinky brown transition color. I use it a lot when I want to do blush tones, and I'm putting it from outer to inner corner, and then I'm taking Dusty Rose by Anastasia Beverly Hills on a MAC 217 brush and placing this right below where I put that first color, mainly focusing most of that color on the outer corner, but I will be dragging the remnants of what's on the brush towards the inner corner, just so everything can fade up into these gorgeous blush tones. I'm taking the Orchid Caviar Stick by Laura Mercier, and I'm just going to be basically slapping this all over my eyes. This is kind of going on a little bit patchy. I have a lot of the caviar sticks, and this is the only one that kind of goes on a little patchy, so I'm trying to get as much coverage as I can, but it's a gorgeous pinky orchid color. But then I did take CIRCA Plum pigment from MAC and just pat this all over just because it was patchy and showing some skin through. So this is actually a limited edition pigment, but I will put dupes in the bottom bar below. It's just a dusty pinky lavender shade, but most of it's going to be covered in the end anyway. I'm here using Urban Decay Snatch eyeshadow, and I'm just going to be dragging this across the inner half, I guess, of the lid, feathering it into CIRCA Plum. This is a gorgeous peachy pink eyeshadow with gold reflex. It is so perfect for spring, and it is really eye brightening. I'm going to be using the three purple shades in the top of this Morphe 35S palette. Here I'm taking the kind of bluish tone purple, and I'm patting this on the outer corner. This Morphe palette is so pigmented. You can see the shadows are a little bit powdery, but you can see the pigment that goes on, so the tiniest amount goes the longest way. And then I'm going to be mixing the two kind of more pinky purples. I didn't get a shot of them. And then just adding that directly on the outer corner here. You can see it adds a bit more of a pink tone because the look was becoming a little more neutral than I wanted. And this Morphe palette has some great purples with a pink undertone to keep everything. I wanted it definitely to be color and not neutral. So this made it a little bit brighter and a little bit more pastel on what I was going for. So I'm just patting that to the outer corner, and then I'm using a Morphe brush. I forget the name of this, but it is the Morphe dupe for the MAC 217 to blend everything out, and you can just see how easily these eyeshadows blend out. And for $2 a pop, I mean, really you can see how they performed. It's beautiful. I really think this Morphe palette kind of made the look in my opinion. This right here is number 88 Dazzledust from Barry M, which is a UK drugstore company. It is just a berry shade, like a berry plummy burgundy shade. It is very dupeable, so I will leave a dupe below, but this wasn't a smoky eye, it was more of a gradient effect, but I did want to add something a little bit deeper, but still in that berry tone to the outer corners just for slightly more depth, so that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to use the MAC 217 brush that still has a little bit of the Anastasia Dusty Rose on it, just to blend everything out. To line my eyes, I'm using the thinnest line of black liner because I don't want to cut any of the shadow off. And this is just my Maybelline liquid liner before I went in with false eyelashes. And I'm using KELSEY from Flutter Lashes Ink. And then skipping right onto face, this is the NARS Copacabana Illuminator. I just dotted it on my face and used a Morphe brush to blend it in. Usually I will mix it directly with my foundation, but today I wanted to try going on before I went in with my foundation. I have no idea why I did that, but the foundation I did use is the NARS All Day Weightless Luminous in the shade Barcelona, and I set this up because, I mean, how many times can you seriously watch someone put on foundation? It's the easiest thing, but I am using my Urban Decay Optic brush as I always do. Contour and highlight time, my fave. This is the Laura Mercier Cream Contour Palette, so I take that lightest shade and I carve out my cheekbones as I am doing here on both sides. I'll also use the shade around the temples and on the hairline and everywhere else. This is the most cool tone light shade. So then I will take the second darkest shade and kind of carve out closer to my hairline just to carve out those cheekbones even more with a deeper shade. And then I will take the highlight shade, the cream yellow shade, and put this down the center of my face, my cupid's bow, and my chin. And then I highlight using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. This is in the shade Light Warm. So I'm just putting it in all the highlight areas and then blending everything out with a beauty blender. I do my highlight first, obviously, because I want to use the same beauty blender. So I'll do all the highlighted portions, and then I will go ahead and just flip the sponge over and start blending out my contour right here, my cream contour, and do all the dark areas. I'm taking my Kat Von D Shade Light palette, and I'm using the yellow shade and the kind of pinky ivory shade to set my under eyes with a MAC 165 tapered brush, as I always do. And I'm also going to use this powder to set like the center of my face, anywhere I put those highlights. And then I will also set my contour with that lightest gray shade. Honestly, contouring my face, I feel like this is the step that takes the longest time in my makeup routine. I go hard. I love contouring, but I like to spend a little bit of time. And then I will use the peach shade and just carve out the bottom of my contour right there to make it softer but also more sharp. For a brow highlight, I am taking Grain from MAC Cosmetics. It's a gorgeous peachy pink with shimmer. It's a nice subtle shade, but it does have a pretty sheen to it. I'm just putting this directly under the brow. For an eyeliner, I'm using Raven from MAC, and this is the most shitty eyeliner ever. I literally had to cut out a ton of footage of me going back and forth under my waterline, but it ended up looking really pretty because it's a burgundy color. I'm using a pencil brush and smudging Dusty Rose from Anastasia Beverly Hills all the way under the lower lash line, and then I'm going to use the same three purples that I used in my outer corner from the Morphe palette as well, about 3/4 of the way in on my lash line. Basically, I'm repeating everything I did on the upper lash line on the lower lash line, so everything ties in perfectly. So then I'm going to take the Urban Decay Snatch, and then this obviously will go on the inner corner where I use that on the top, just mirroring the top basically. And then I'm going to use a 217 brush just to blend everything out and mesh everything together so it's just soft and pretty and no harsh lines. Before taking Peaches and Cream from MAC as my blush. This was limited edition, but it is seriously one of the only pink blushes that I have that isn't too warm and isn't too cool. So you guys probably have a pink blush in your collection, but this is just mine, and a pink blush works perfectly with this look because it's so girly. My highlight is going to be the Artist Couture Diamond Glow Powder in Yes! This is my favorite right now, and honestly, I told you guys when I apply this, it just makes me say yes because it is so on and popping. And I'm using my Becca Perfecting D1 brush to apply this. I love how this applies, especially loose highlights. And don't forget the Cupid's bow because it makes the hugest difference. I'm lining my lips with Peekaboo Neutral Lip Liner and then topping off the look with NARS Raquel Audacious Lipstick, which is a gorgeous peachy pink nude. And it complements and ties everything in perfectly to finish the look.
I'll let you set the